should have given birth when I was pregnant, and I should have put the baby up for adoption because I didn't want it, and that there are plenty of other couples out there that would love a baby. If those couples want a baby, if you want to sit there and push how adoption is always an option, go tell those motherfucking couples to adopt the fucking kids in the fucking foster care system that have no parents. Go tell them to go adopt the fucking kids who don't know love. Go tell them to go adopt the fucking kids that have been emotionally, physically, and sexually abused by the system. There are fucking kids out here sitting in a system getting moved around from home to home because they aren't a shiny new baby. Children are not toys, they're not cars. You don't go and say, oh, I want a kid, but I only want the new one. You care so much about the fucking kids, go care about the actual fucking living kids who don't know love. And stop being concerned with a fucking fetus that didn't even know that it was gonna be born. You care so much about the fucking kids, go care about the fucking kids. Mind your fucking business, bitch.
I got bitches off the Zans. Bitch, I got bitches. Bitch, I got bitches. Bitch, I got bitches. Bitch, I got bitches. Bitch, I got bitches.
Bro, she asked you about Roe and Wade, about abortion laws. What are you talking about? Oh, fucking Osama bin Laden. Why are you talking about? Yo, this nigga's not answering the questions.
Stop now.
Typical day at the abortion clinic. I make my coffee. This machine gives me lots of problems. I read sweet messages. I grab a snack. My coffee's done. I load my computer. That's me. Start counseling. More counseling. This is a speculum. That's a dilating rod. A cannula. Laminaria. More counseling. And I can finally drink my coffee after.
It's Saturday. Wake up early at 5 a.m., make a little coffee, get the house warmed up, and water all of my precious plant babies. Then I'm going to take a shower, get ready, brush my teeth, do all the things that you got to do to get ready to get out of the house, put on layers because it's really cold, wake up my grumpy husband, have him strap me into my bulletproof vest, put on my clinic escort vest, and hit the car. It's going to be a really long morning, so we're going to definitely need more coffee, going to swing by the Starbucks and head to the park, where the escorts like to get together in the morning and just do a meditation and get our heads right before our shift. Then we all head to the clinic together as a group. We help each other put on what we need to and get ready to take on the sidewalks. We protect our patients. We make sure they get inside safely and eat cupcakes along the way. Then we go inside, put all of our stuff away in the clinic escort office and say goodbye. Head home. And as soon as I hit the door, the first thing I do every single time is take off a little bit of stress by cuddling my very sweet and very cute puppy, Rodney. Then I sit down to edit videos for TikTok.
And then there's Love Life Parking. I'm gonna flip you off really quick. So there's that, and then they're all over here. See, there's that one. He's gonna try and wave to you and stop you again. And then here there are lined up cars, again, waving to you like the creepy fuckers they are. They can't even just mind their own business. Line the fuck up, and then here you have it. Wait. That's what the fuck we're dealing with. This is what the fuck we're dealing with. Good morning, Vicky! Yep.
I just learned something in one of my classes about abortion that completely blew my mind because I never really thought of it this way. And I hope a lot of people use this in their pro-choice arguments. And if you're pro-life, I hope you could take a step back and you know, maybe this will change your mind. I don't know. Abortion was never illegal until the 1860s. And what else happened in the 1860s? Slavery was abolished. So now these white men that own these farms and businesses didn't have anyone to do their free labor. So guess what? They wanted big families. They wanted kids. They wanted the kids to work on the farms and work for them for free. Abortion was never illegal because it was murder. Abortion was illegal because people were losing money.
Okay, so I saw this girl on TikTok talk about something she learned in class that was for the pro-choice argument, and I wanted to share something that I learned that no one has ever really been able to argue against. So a common argument for pro-life is that it's a life at conception, right? So let's just assume that that's true. But we all know that it needs to use the mother's body for the next 9 months. Let's also say we all agree that rape is bad. It's one of the worst things that you can do to somebody. What rape essentially is using someone's body against their will without their consent. So if you want to say that it's a life at conception, but you also agree that no one should use someone else's body against their will, then it shouldn't be any different when someone wants to get an abortion, denying the fetus consent to use her body. So there shouldn't be laws forcing women to give up their body for someone else's use. And I really don't think you can argue with that.
I just don't think men should really have a say in the whole abortion discussion. Oh, that's really interesting. How come? They just realistically don't have to carry the same burden that women do when they're pregnant. Burden's a heavy word, but okay, you do have to agree that they are exactly half of the reason that the woman is pregnant, as well as half of the DNA that was created at fertilization, right? Yeah, sure, but they're still not as responsible for carrying the pregnancy. Okay, well, with that point of view, let's say the woman does want to keep the baby and the father doesn't. Don't you think that just provides the perfect narrative for the father to leave because he's realistically not as responsible or doesn't have as much of a say anyways? Well, just provides the perfect scapegoat for men that don't want to take responsibility for the pregnancies of women. I guess, maybe. I feel like this is the root of the issue for the lack of fathers in America, because as soon as you give them the idea that they're not as responsible for a pregnancy or don't have as much say in the pregnancy, then they can leave and just not care about the whole rest of the life because they didn't have a say anyways.
Things that actually happened to me while working at a religious university, part 7. So yeah, I just think abortion is wrong, you know? I mean, what do you think about it? I mean, her body, her choice, right? What? Well, you know that in the Bible that it says that... Yeah, I know what the Bible says, but I also believe in the separation of church and state, so... I'm confused. You know that a person can be religious and also be pro-choice, right? I have to go.
How can Christians support access to abortion? Isn't the Bible against abortion? No, not really. The Bible doesn't say much. Jesus definitely doesn't say anything. And there's only 2 scriptures that even remotely talk about abortion, but it's not the same thing as abortion care people receive in 2020. I'm talking about Exodus 21, 22 through 25. In this story, a woman has a miscarriage because she's been injured as a bystander to a fight nearby. Her husband is owed financial compensation for the loss of the fetus, aka his family line. But the fetus itself is not considered a life. Otherwise, the compensation would have been life for a life. That's listed in the next verse, not in this verse. It's still super patriarchal and problematic that the man is receiving compensation for harm done to his wife rather than the wife receiving compensation, but the Bible sees the woman's life as more valuable than her unborn fetus. The point is, we should not use the Bible to abuse people for their reproductive decisions, and everyone deserves to make reproductive decisions free from shame, judgment, or stigma. What does the Bible say about abortion? Part 2, Numbers 5, 11 through 31. Now, both the Exodus and the Numbers passage are talking about laws and rituals that govern life and community more than about individual stories. Basic assumptions. Polygamous marriage. 1 man, many women. Men can have multiple sexual partners. Women can have 1 male sexual partner. Women are seen as property. This ritual is wild. It's about jealousy. If a man suspects that his wife has had sex with another man, he can take her to the priest, even if he has no proof. Lots of red flags, super abusive. The priest makes a potion out of dust, water, and ink and forces the woman to drink it. If she's guilty, the potion will cause an abortion and she will be cursed. If she's innocent, she can remain able to conceive and get pregnant. This is super problematic and patriarchal. I don't condone it. But if you try to use the Bible to say that God opposes abortion at all times, in all places, for all people, that is simply not true. Remember, everyone should be free from shame, judgment, or stigma for their reproductive decisions. What does the Bible say about abortion? Part 3. Obviously, God and the Bible care about the sanctity of life. The question is, when does life begin? Let's go to Genesis and talk about some creation stories. In Genesis 1, God creates the world in 6 days. Humanity is created on day 6, but there's no particular indication of when life enters the body. There is this phrase that says everything that has the breath of life, connecting life with breath. In Genesis 2, God creates Adam out of the dust. God breathes the breath of life into Adam's nostrils, and Adam becomes a living being, connecting that life with breath. This was a foundational understanding of Christianity until about the 1850s, more on that later, and is still foundational to Judaism today. There is no universal understanding of when life begins across science or religious traditions. It's a mystery, and God is in that mystery. So let's support and honor people making reproductive decisions without shaming, judging, or stigmatizing them. What does the Bible say about abortion? Part 4, the 10 Commandments. Remember, Part 1, Exodus 21. Part 2, Numbers 5. Part 4, Exodus 20 and Deuteronomy 5, where you can find the 10 Commandments. All of these texts are about the laws that we need in place to live in community and live in right relationship with God and with each other. One of these commandments is you shall not murder. The Hebrew word for murder is tirtzah, from the verb ratzah, to murder, the intentional killing or taking of human life. Remember in Part 3, with the Genesis stories, we learned that life is connected with breath. Every time ratzah is used in the Hebrew Bible, it's talking about a living, breathing human being outside of the womb. So basically, this is inconclusive about what the Bible says about abortion. Come back for Part 5. The Bible say about abortion, Part 5. Jeremiah. Our previous texts have talked about rituals and laws for life in community. This is a book of prophecy. It's full of poetry and metaphors. Jeremiah has to establish his credibility as a prophet. He starts and claims that God knew and consecrated and appointed him a prophet before he was even born. That is beautiful and powerful. And it is disingenuous to use Jeremiah 1:5 as definitive proof that all life begins at conception. We also have to talk about Jeremiah 20:17. He laments and cries out, wishing he had died in his mother's womb. It's one of the only times in the Bible that actually talks about someone wanting or needing an abortion. But the verb there in Hebrew is mut, to die, not ratzah, to murder, that we had in the 10 Commandments. Therefore, abortion does not meet the biblical definition.
Ladies and gentlemen, the volume inside of this bus is astronomical. It is way.
Dance on the now you've been served. What the fuck I'm gon' fight for? Shed light on your block with this light, oh dumb nigga. Broke boy, pockets like.
Imagine being a woman and fighting for the right to murder your own child.
Imagine being in your second trimester of your pregnancy and going to your doctor and your doctor telling you you're not going to survive the rest of this pregnancy. You will die before you are able to deliver this baby. And then the government telling you, well, you got to keep it in there because his life is more important than your own and we think you should. Imagine being a rape victim and the guy who raped you got you pregnant and the government tells you you have to keep that pregnancy and you have to live with that for the rest of your life. And let's say that baby grows up and when he's about 15 years old, he asks you, Mom, who's my dad? And you have to tell him, oh, it's a man that raped me 15 years ago. Imagine that conversation. Imagine finding out that your pregnancy is an ectopic pregnancy, which is actually what I went through and almost died from. And then your doctor telling you, well, if I don't intervene, you will die, but the government doesn't want me to do anything, so you're just gonna have to die. Imagine being a woman and not even understanding pro-choice. Imagine being a woman and not even understanding why most abortions happen. Maybe imagine scenarios past your own existence and educate yourself before you open your mouth.
I'm gonna try to make this my last video about this, but this is a very important point. Thank you for bringing it up. So you guys have to understand, if they are going to ban abortion for one reason, they're going to ban abortion for all reasons. So in a situation like this, where a woman has a miscarriage and she needs a DNC in order to remove the dead fetus, they will deny her. They will not do the procedure because they will consider an abortion. And not only will they not do the D&C, but they could also incarcerate her for an unavoidable miscarriage. And then she will have to carry this dead fetus inside of her for who knows how long and possibly never pass it and die. See, shit like this is stuff that you guys don't think about. Being pro-choice is not being pro-kill babies. We just want to have control over our own reproductive system. And to make it even more comical, so many of you pro-lifers hunt. You go out and you deliberately shoot living, breathing animals that do actually feel pain. And a lot of you don't even eat the animals. You just do it as a hobby because you think it's fun. It's premeditated murder, but it's okay to you because it's an animal. Do they not have a will to live? Make it make sense.
You have to stop screaming pro-life if you're going to turn around and shame teen moms for keeping their child. You want us to take responsibility, but then you shame us. Pick a struggle, dumbass.
You're a hypocrite. You're a big hypocrite. You had an abortion, but because you're not happy with what you're doing, you're standing out here making other people feel guilty. And like I said, many people have been abused. You don't know what their reasons for. So I think this is so wrong on so many levels. And you're a liar because I heard her tell you, turn off the camera. So be honest, man. Be real with the people. Because as soon as they see that on you, they make women, and like I just said, you don't know if they've got money. There was a baby on the news that got found in the fucking bin, yeah? Maybe if their mum didn't feel away because of people like you, that baby wouldn't have died in a bin. Whether you think it's better to get rid of them at 10 weeks or for them to actually go through the birth and then kill that child, I think it's better then. Simple as. And I think it's right what you're doing. Make them shove off from here. But they ain't even done their research. There's kids company around there where we're helping thousands and thousands of kids while you're out here and you ain't done your research where you are, where you're located.
When I say there are more of us than them, I mean it. This group, Live Action, is an anti-woman group that's been around since 2003. They spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, each year harassing women and posting up outside of women's health clinics. They're not a lot of fun. Check out how many followers they have. Now let's talk about Pro-Choice with Heart, our organization that was founded with just one woman 1 year ago with zero budget. I spend my own money to do activism. Well, check out how many followers we have. We are the majority. Most people in the United States are pro-choice. Keep up your activism. I am so happy to be a part of this community. Can't wait for what's to come.
This argument only comes from the completely stupid. Do you know what a late-term abortion is like? Because I'm guessing the answer to that is no, because you've never bothered to find out. See, I knew someone who had a late-term abortion. As a matter of fact, she wouldn't be able to have it now in the state that she had it in. She wanted that baby more than you'll ever know. She had her nursery set up. But her a-hole doctor didn't tell her in the first few months that her baby had all kinds of problems. So she found out pretty late that it was going to cost her $250,000 for her to have this baby that would probably only live for an hour or so. So she made the difficult decision to have a, quote, late-term abortion. And late-term abortions take 3 days, 3. And because you're getting an abortion, you can't stay in a hospital. You can't stay in a hospital bed while you're in pain. No, you have to go home and come back and go home and come back and go home and come back. It is honestly a horrific procedure, which is why less than 1% of abortions are in the late stages.
Planned Parenthood needs to be defunded. No, that would be very bad. Well, Planned Parenthood kills babies, so abortion is only 2% of Planned Parenthood services. I don't care. I don't want any of my taxpayer money to go to abortions. None of your taxpayer money goes to abortions. What do you mean? The Hyde Amendment makes it impossible for any federal funding to go towards abortion services. What? Yeah. But let's say Planned Parenthood is defunded. Less people will have access to other forms of contraception that they would use before an abortion. People who are anemic or have endometriosis may otherwise die because they don't have access to birth control. I thought people just use birth control to stop pregnancy. No, not at all. Either way, less access to contraceptives would guarantee a rise in the maternal mortality rate. So if you want to kill actual people, then yeah, defund Planned Parenthood.
I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not even a Republican. But I do agree that abortion should be illegal. Hear me out. I don't think it's right to kill a defenseless, unborn fetus. That's why I think we should wait until after they're born. Let's at least give the little guys a chance to defend themselves. All I'm saying is let's make it interesting. Let's at least see if the little cowards have what it takes.
Put a finger down, pro-life edition. Put a finger down if you call yourself pro-life. Put a finger down if you're anti-death penalty. Put a finger down if you're in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. Put a finger down if you believe we should free everyone who's being kept in an ICE detention facility. Put a finger down if you've been following social distancing guidelines and wearing a mask in public in order to prevent the spread of coronavirus. Put a finger down if you're in favor of free birth control and comprehensive sex education to prevent unwanted pregnancies and, furthermore, prevent actual abortions from happening. If you put your finger down for the first one and not the rest, you're not pro-life. You're anti-choice.
Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, Wisconsin.
If you're watching this right now and you're a pro-lifer, let me explain why perhaps your stance isn't as logical as you might think it is. But keeping in mind, I am very aware of the fact that you mean well. And I'm not trying to be condescending or anything, but the idea of pro-life actually works way better with pro-choice. Roe v. Wade legalized abortion in 1973. Between 1972 and 1974, illegal abortion procedures plummeted from 130,000 to 17,000. Deaths caused by abortion went from 39 to 5. And during Barack Obama's presidency, obviously very pro-choice, very invested in helping the systemic way that people can get abortions, abortions went down 19%. I don't think anybody is not pro-life. I think even pro-choice people would much prefer a baby being born. Like, nobody's saying they prefer an abortion. But actually having healthy systems for women to deal with things like this and to not put themselves in a position to have an abortion work very well under pro-choice systems.
They're all in favor of the unborn. They will do anything for the unborn. But once you're born, you're on your own. Pro-life conservatives are obsessed with the fetus from conception to 9 months. After that, they don't want to know about you. They don't want to hear from you. No, nothing. No neonatal care, no daycare, no Head Start, no school lunch, no food stamps, no welfare, no nothing. If you're pre-born, you're fine. If you're preschool, you're fucked.
Talk about abortion. Sorry, tell me how this works. Bacteria is life on Mars, but a heartbeat isn't life on Earth.
So what I'm gathering is that if you have a bacterial infection, you're leaving it untreated because that's not pro-life. People be like, I'm so pro-life, I'm probiotic. But on a real note, that is what you would call a false equivalency. And I don't know a single person that's educated on the topic that would argue against cellular life being life. By definition, cells are very much a form of life. They just happen to be insentient. And just like it's not murder to pull the plug on somebody that's brain dead, it's not murder to get rid of a fetus that's insentient.
You need to stop trying to make abortions illegal. Making abortions illegal is not going to stop them, and therefore it's not going to save the lives that you are trying to save. It's just going to push people to have unsafe, illegal abortions, which just risk more lives.